What's up, Hippo lovers? Another episode of AoE 2 history. We won't look at tournament games necessarily. I believe the game number 4 was a tournament game. But we will just look into some record games out of my folder. I have a folder there, Golden Records. And just looked at that and picked some beauties from 2002, 2003 and 2004 for today. For this specific video for YouTube, we will take a look at a Hans War from 2003. It will be Storm Fletcher against Storm Ecstasy, two huge legends of this game. Fletcher, as a Norwegian player, obviously is playing in the yellow trunks here. We have the Hunt start, and they are chatting quite a bit. On the other side, we have Crucifix, the Smurfnik of Mr. Ecstasy, an American legend. Both players incredibly good at their time and very chatty. Maybe you catch some of that. Are talking some about the WCL, which is coming up, and that they want to improve on their deathmatch skills there. We will look at that with the big trees. 2003 game, I wanted to join Storm for WCL, and yeah, so both pretty happy with that. And oh, Blitzkrieg, even another German guy. Germans were pretty good in the end. I'm not. Is he a German? I think he was. Well, yeah. There's only one legend, and he's our Lord and Savior. Well, we will have other episodes with Doubt for sure. We already had some episodes with Doubt, and at one point I will go through the full best of 21 series, Doubt versus Chris for sure. I think it was the first series I ever casted, so it would be pretty good. Fog of War, I will deliver that to you. And yeah, here's a very weird map. As we all know, old Arabia maps were pretty bad there with the pawns, and it is also tricky to micro those villagers. Oh, I just feel the pain that we had in 2003 here. I wonder if current 1600 Woobly players could beat them. 1600 is, let's say, a winning player for sure. I would say this is a level of like 1650 Woobly 1v1 at the moment. And you have to remember, those bows were probably top 10, top 20 in the world at that point. I think so. I think so. Did I put it on 6 speed? Yeah. It is still the old speed that we use on HD nowadays. And now trying to go for the bow. Are the old Doubt videos on YouTube? Obviously. Yeah, level, it is tricky to judge, right? If we already see 5 on wood, a lot of you would shake their heads. If we see the mill before the lumber camp, that kind of weird. But yeah, late sheep, Mr. Fletcher here. And maybe let's talk about the maps a bit. We have solid woodline, defensive gold here for sure. Nice defensive berries. So overall, I like the map of Mr. Sutra. Oh, yeah, Ecstasy here a bit more, and that we're already adding farms. There's something, yeah, that we did in 2003, but at some point we realized, maybe having those farms with horse color would be a bit better. Would be nice to see Fletcher or Ecstasy in the chat. Unlikely. Another time we had one of the WCG players in the chat here, and maybe we could get Ink. I watched the recorded game of Ing today as well, who's still around from those old days. And yeah, maybe T. I think T might be around as well. Yeah, so there are still some from the very old days. Not only Doubt, Memp, and me, but the 3 of us probably the most famous. Still alive and kicking. Second lumber camp here, pop 24 so far. We already have Loom. We need to switch players this way to see what's going on. And the typical build order was pop 25 and then just get feudal age with 400 food for 400 wood. What happened to Katsuni? Oh, that's another episode of AoE 2 history. Warpick, he sees. Or Warpick is actually only the guy spectating. The only chance to spectate in the old days was to co-op and go into the game Otherwise, there was no real spectating option, and he only could see one point of view in this one as well. Katsuni, I don't really know. Maybe we could ask him. He was streaming like 2 months ago or something, so he isn't out of the world. Isn't Say My Name an old player as well? Yeah, Say My Name has been around. I played Say My Name probably 2002, 2003 as well. His old nickname was VNS Yellow. There was VNS Cool, I think is very old. Oh god. VNS Soul, I believe. VNS. No, Say My Name is not the yellow player here. His old nick was VNS Yellow. We have Fletcher in yellow and Ecstasy in green. We have double archery range here, the defense. We have the 5 villager forward and double archery range here from Mr. Fletcher as well. Playing this quite aggressively for sure. And, well, some small harassment. Farms all in the back. Not really knowing that this is the fastest farm spot at that time. And maybe just an intentional placement of those farms to be a bit safer against forwards. That's what Fletcher's doing as well. Now the first aggressive tower here. Instant defensive tower here by Mr. Ecstasy to defend this. Let's take a look. Skirmishers out, Spearmen out as well. Scout a bit annoying. Defensive tower being built by 5 villagers. The other ones of Mr. Fletcher being harassed quite a bit. His forward rush looks like a proxy all in StarCraft. Well, it's not sneaky enough for that. But yeah, it is a strategy that we don't see too often anymore. TC is still working, and it seems like this tower will be defended. No wall in here, but skirmishes. Still production continuing, and well, he could be quite annoying here. Let's see. Want to see current 600 chatting that much and not losing builds. Well, they only chatted in Dark Age, right? I like 2003 to 2005 games of Halo. Oh yeah, we will have some of those coming up as well. I watched some series, like I spent my whole early morning watching, oh not my whole early morning, but a solid 3 hours watching old recorded games just to cherry pick the best ones for you for today. And, oh, did I just hear a villager die? Was she on that farm or something? Okay, one going down here now, and Skirm still defending. We really need to add any more spearmen to see idle for now. Skirmisher production continues. Villagers now running around. Are we on stone at home? No, we switched on to gold quite a bit. So not really sure what those villagers are up to. Maybe trying to get the forward stone here. And yes, indeed, they are. Nice moving now by Mr. Fletcher here, being quite aggressive, but that could be a trap. Walled off here, but he's probably just trying to find some kills. He is down to 13 HP and should get killed. Nice one, and Ecstasy now coming back. Skirms, well, losing some HP, one losing his life. Moving in here. Now trying to go for some micro, but that looks like a bit more skirmishes on the field for Mr. Ecstasy. Let's take a look. 19 ranged units against, what do we have here? 15 only for our player from Norway, who's still producing at the top, but now archers and double sneaky stable. So wants to kill all those skirmishes. Fletching is something that we saw very late. Most of the time we saw people adding the stable before fletching, and look at that. Nice move here by Mr. Ecstasy for sure. Moving to the left-hand side to make sure to catch all those skirmishers off guard from Mr. Fletcher here, who is now heavily behind in military count for sure. First scout out here at the left-hand side though. Eats some hits against his head though. Over to the left-hand side, and now the archers are moving in, but running through the TC, not the greatest first step here, and is now showing all the army, and also villagers now being sent forward. This is a quite aggressive move, and we know that our player in the green trunks is not on stone, because his stone spots are very open, and that means the tower could not be answered by a defensive tower. Is it true that the fletching is called after the player Fletcher? Absolutely true. Player was before the game, before developers felt like, how do we want to call our upgrades? Maybe let's keep them unnamed. And let's see what players are not doing the upgrades. And then we can name them. Yeah, if it wasn't for the famous player Loom, the more HP upgrade in the TC for villagers would have been called the Donny upgrade. By the way, Mr. Loom was earlier. Okay, now the defensive tower here to make sure that his stables are still working. Or are we getting this tower up? I think so. Villagers are still working. Archers here without any upgrades. We have Fletching now on the side of Mr. Ecstasy. And he's sniping those archers down quite nicely. Is having some scouts over so, but they are low HP. Still does some damage. We now have the blacksmith on the other side as well. Why is going archers when his opponent has so many skirmishes? He did just send some villagers on gold and went for it. It is very easy to now backseat game 16 years later, and obviously with all our knowledge see so many mistakes even from the world best, but they invented those strategies, right? They kind of came up with like, okay, let's go for archer, scout composition. How does that interact? And maybe if I go scout archers, my archers perform well against your scouts, and the scouts can eat your skirms alive or something. And yeah, I think it was mainly trying to balance his eco. Maybe too many on gold. Something we could agree on today. 100 food here for our player in the yellow trunks, who now has Bloodlines, is trying to take this engagement, but a lot of army out here for our defending player from the US of A. Lots of scouts out though. Let's take a look. Can he take a good engagement? It seems like not really. Pop 60 for him. On the other side, we are fighting with the strong Pop 78, and now needs to go into the tower, save his villagers, but military isn't looking too great for him. Archers wanted to run into the tower as well, but only capacity for 5 of those. So they died under there, and now the villagers are moving in, trying to fight this one down. Scout production still continues, but now we have enough archers here for sure. Those archers at the right-hand side are going back. Now he puts the stables, or the production inside the stables. They have some wrecks from Skirm against Loom from 1987. I still have AOK games, yeah, but I personally didn't follow the AOK scene at all, so I have no personal attachment to those. I only, I played AOK, but online I only played AOC. So, and I wouldn't even know to really do this. Okay, Pop 77 here against Pop 57. What is our option now? We have 2 stables running. We have 2 archery rangers running. We are trying to do some sneaky shenanigans. Have the +1 attack against scouts that only have bloodlines. Archers have +1. And now the big army is going to the other side. Military count, 11 at the moment. Compare that to the wood. Oi, 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 oi. Nelly Mash says 42, 32, 32, 32. And maybe at some point 42. And yeah, so if he gets the damage in quickly, he can probably finish the game here. Scouts are now running home. But for now... Oh, and it's even open here. Something I didn't even see. And that should be some dead villagers for sure. Defensive towers now being built. Stable number 3 as well. But those archers and... Oh, the scouts in the back are snacking some of the archers and skirmishes. Scouts are now coming back to protect their friends. And what a nice pick-off. Score still somewhat even. And archers now trying to defend. Defensive tower here. Are we on more stone? Not really. Was that only the villagers at the front picking all those? Seems like it. Stable number 4 out of Mr. Fletcher. And yeah, only because there's a Norwegian flag at the top, it doesn't mean that we're doing troll challenges today. This is the strategy that he thought was the best. Now the counterattack here at the side, a lot of spearmen to defend that. Archers need to do some work as well. Aggression over here continues. Villagers are going down left and right. But, villagers have to be pulled. Remember, we are only now going onto stone, so defensive tower is not really an option. Scouts are now moving in. On the other side, the tower is getting attacked, but scouts also dying in range of the TC here. Let's take a look. Maybe some debation into the TC. Seems like the macro not completely on point. Next engagement here looks pretty sexy for our Norwegian, who's now overcommitting a bit into the TC as well. What an intense game here, and that's the beauty of those old games. Completely no glove. And give it in your face. Feudal age full aggression games. And even the scout raids under the TC going complete mad here. And, well, he is doing some damage for sure. Meanwhile, somewhat defending, or is he? Well, still 6 scouts alive. 1 archer just died. Villagers are being pulled again. But Mr. Fletcher now being forced to go back at this side as well. Oof. Some raiding now at this side. Next lumber camp. Eco not that great, and oh boy! This is... do we have some T90 subs maybe here to give me some T90 fubs? This is wild. And this is still without horse color as well. That's pretty brutal. Another mill over here. Defensive tower now at the gold. And trying to run around here at the left hand side. Next raid here at the gold of Mr. Fletcher, who isn't reacting in time. Now gets the villagers in there. And didn't lose a single villager. How did he not lose a single villager? That could be the only one. No, gets into the tower as well. And honestly, that looks like Fletcher might kill this. He has a lot of upgrades. Now expanded with some villagers here. Another raid needs to pull the villagers again. Now the go against all those. And he is running away. And that's pretty ugly for him, honestly. Taking a lot of hits without really fighting back. Tower was helping as well. But, well, if you're doing so much damage at the right-hand side, it might be worth it. Okay, let's take a look at the resources. We have 600 wood floating for our player in the green trunks. Food and gold is something he gets on the map quite nicely. Another raid against those villagers. Now tries to send 15 villagers into the tower. It's obviously not really how towers work. And maybe he could have even fought. Maybe felt like, okay, that's something I cannot really afford. Okay, pop 79 now for our player in the green. Pop 91 for the yellow player. What happened here? He keeps producing archers, scouts out of 3 stables from his 4. And now goes for massive raids here for sure. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Is he getting a lot of kills? And the right hand side completely unprotected. Stone completely denied, so no more defensive towers. Do we see the castle age? No. Absolutely not inside as well. Raids are continuing heavily here, and you play old school, he says. And this is 2003, and they're already calling themselves old school. Oh. Okay, production continues. Maybe 3 stables and 2 archer ranges, plus 1 barrack isn't enough for all the production that he wants to go for. Scouts now doing a reasonable job of clearing that up, though. No defensive upgrade on the archers, and they are dying under the tower. Nice clear up here by Ecstasy. You play old school is so funny. Well, he is right, he is right. But he didn't know that he was right. Oh, found that wood line as well. Oh boy, and that's so many dead bodies here over and over again. And yeah, because 2 archer ranges and 4 stables aren't enough, let's add another archer range here from Mr. Fletcher. Oh man, low HP scouts everywhere. He's pretty happy that he defended. Lost 1 villager in the back. Will probably save this one. And the double kill here. Ecstasy is fine for now. The eco balance though. Oh, that looks pretty sexy. Everything pretty low. On the other side, floating a bit of gold. But now adding some more farms. Probably trying to clear up the right hand side here. What are we producing? Still mass archers, mass scouts. And that's an easy clear up in the back. And yeah, we will have a lot of inappropriate shedding later.